Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this recap video I'm going to walk you through our most recent entry in the NASDAQ. Now the NASDAQ was posted as a 62.55 limit order to buy on our spreadsheet, and if you watched the tax reform tantrum that happened midday, you'll notice that the NQ, the ES, the YM all sold off, as it looks like any corporate tax reform, these cuts are not going to take hold until 2019. So that created a quick sell-off in the markets as traders and investors expressed their displeasure with this reality, but they took it back very quickly. Now here's the thing, the overall trend in the NASDAQ is still very much up and strong. So 62.55 is a corrective or retracement entry long. This is how I like to engage trends. Find a correction within the context of the trend, buy at that lower low, and then wait for the trend to resume. And that's exactly what we have now with approximately a 55, 60 point cushion on the NQ. Classic swing buy. Leaving that limit order to buy out there is very important. You'll notice what we do is we park and modify. Leave the limit order out there. And then how do I feel so comfortable with the level, this low in the NASDAQ? What we do is we calculate these levels using daily price movement ranges. Price movement ranges make a certain amount of the volatility that we see day to day very predictable. So we have a pretty good idea of where range extreme highs and lows can be, and we park our orders accordingly. Now, the complementary entry, and I love this, it's a little bit different than what we normally do, which is the complementary entry in Priceline. So Priceline is a psychologically important name because after the gap lower, and this doesn't have a big weighting in the QQQs and the NASDAQ futures, but again, NVIDIA, Priceline, and you can throw Netflix in there. They're psychologically important. Traders watch these. It's very much that FANG psychology. And heads up, by the way, FANG now has a futures contract, and we'll talk more about that in coming updates. So Priceline is one of those markets traders are just dying to bottom pick in. Now, the way I'll do this, if a market is in a very vulnerable spot, is I'll wait for momentum on an intraday time frame. By this, I'm taking advantage of momentum, so the market's pulling me in with higher highs, and my risk is much less because I'm looking at a 30-minute time frame. So as the NASDAQ recovered post the tax reform tantrum, the Priceline market was able to trigger what we call a wave reversal buy between 1663 and 1670. That zone becomes an area through which, if we see bullish momentum, we buy, and what we're able to do is take advantage of higher highs. Rather than traders try to bottom pick, the market has to prove to us that it's bullish. So here's a great complementary trade for those of you that love trading the futures, and then the complementary stocks that make up the holdings of these different futures contracts. So if you're an equities trader, you've got to keep an eye on what markets like the NASDAQ, the S&P, and Dow are doing, because trades like Priceline become a whole lot easier to take when these opportunities arise. I'll see you in the next update.